Welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast, where you'll find insight, analysis, and the story behind the numbers.
Hello and welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast. I am your host, Sanjana B, the publication's tech reporter. Today, we will talk about fostering innovation and productivity in the future of work and how organizations can adopt a collaborative approach to talent development. As we move forward, strategic partnerships between institutions and industries are reshaping how talent is cultivated, influencing the future of workforce. There is a need to address talent requirements and ensure that individuals have adaptable skills for an increasingly digital environment. In today's episode, we will be talking to Kritika Murugesan, who is the Senior Director of Nasscom Deep Tech and Startups, and Piyush Mehta, who is the Chief Human Resources Officer and Country Manager of Genpact India. I welcome you both. Can either of you talk about how organizations can ensure that their talent development initiatives are on par with the rapidly evolving technological landscape? Kritika, would you want to go first?
Yeah, sure, Sanjana. Thank you for having us on this. So, Sanjana, as per a survey conducted by World Economic Forum Future of Work Report 2023, the fastest growing roles today are driven by technology, digitalization, and sustainability, right? AI and machine learning specialists, sustainability specialists, business intelligence analysts, and information security analysts are few of the jobs where the net job creation is expected to be the highest during the next couple of years. Right, there is an immense opportunity to address and bridge the digital skills divide prevailing in most of the economies. And, the tech talent shortage is a global phenomena. And India's tech talent demand supply gap, which is between 20 to 27%, is actually the lowest among some of the top tech locations such as USA, China, UK, right? Just putting this into, perspective because the initiatives have to be, broad-based, looking at, organizations and individuals which are prioritizing ongoing technology training and skilling initiatives to ensure that digital skills remain up to date and adaptable. So, investing in employee skilling is a must to do, right? And there is no way that we could run away from it. And so various initiatives in partnership with academia and government we've seen have been rolled out to meet the demand for relevant digital skills. And there is an ever increasing demand for specialist roles as well. And, also, according to a very recent survey, Indian organizations are aggressively pursuing digital skilling of their talent pool, with 52% of the organizations spending nearly 60 to 100 hours a year on digital learning, right? And over 50% of MSMEs are investing more than 100 hours in digital skilling every year. And this was a survey based on over 100 organizations, both large and small, and over 250 case studies. And organizations are relying heavily on learning platforms, whether it's internal platforms, whether it's a combination of internal and external platforms, actually, right? And organizations now are widely use data-driven platforms that offer AI-based personalization and gamification features as well. And these features help to increase learning engagement and enable a continuous digital skilling environment. So these are some of the things that we're seeing and the need for it as well.
Okay, thank you, Kritika. Piyush?
Thanks, Kritika and Sanjana. Once again, thank you very much for having us on this podcast. Look, in our view, talent development and all other people initiatives serve a purpose, and that purpose is to be in service of the business and to fulfill business needs. To us, that is critical, okay, which is doing all these things to service the business. Now, if that is the case, take an example of where we are at Genpact, where we are saying we want to be a growth and an AI first company, so driven by data, tech, and AI. The way we would think about our talent development initiatives is, are they fulfilling our growth and AI first requirements? And if they are, and those requirements can either be demand led, which is when we deal with our clients and when we create solutions for our clients, those solutions end up demanding talent, which is, let's say, data tech AI first. Alternately, they can be supply led, which is saying that, look, we are going to create solutions of a particular kind, and those solutions will be built on the foundation, on the core of data tech AI, and therefore we build those talent pools internally and through external hiring to be able to fulfill those needs. So, in the end, the ability to fulfill the growth needs of the organization is how organizations can ensure that their talent initiatives are in line with what is required. Sanjana?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Piyush. Do you think that the current university curriculums are meeting the requirements of these evolving businesses? If not, how can they be tweaked? Piyush, would you like to lead?
Yeah, sure. Look, current university curriculums can provide a strong foundation, but they may not always be fully able to address the needs of businesses because they are evolving very rapidly. So, to be able to focus on foundational skills, to be able to focus on critical thinking skills is what most university curriculums can do. And to be able to bridge that gap, there are two or three things that that can happen to enable more appropriate learning, right? So they can be industry partnerships. So universities can partner with tech companies to develop curriculum and modules focused on relevant technologies, which will bring real world application into the learning. That's one. The second is guest lectures, industry mentorship. So think about subject matter experts, think about leaders, of a particular domain from technology companies going back into campuses to take classroom sessions, to mentor students, etc., etc. And then there is internship programs, which is a very powerful way of bringing learning, to the getting the benefit of the foundational learning and then adding to it on the job learning. So whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 1 year internships. For example, at this point in time, we have about 500 students who we've got from various technical institutes across the world to come in and partnership with us on 6 months internship in data tech AI. So those are the things which industry and academia can collaborate on to create a more robust talent supply.
Kritika?
Yeah, I will just add, just one point on, how some of the state governments are being very proactive, right? Especially Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, Maharashtra, and the way they're trying to integrate new age technologies into their state universities. And we'll see a lot more following this as well, few other states as well. Some of the programs like what METI has partnered with Google or the AWS, right? Like programs like Build for Digital India program, or the, collaboration with AWS and METI to set up a quantum computing applications lab in India, the National Digital Literacy Mission Centers, right? And of course, the whole Future Skills Prime, which is again a collaborative platform between METI and Nasscom, which will bring in across levels, right? And in looking at scaling up some of these literacy, I won't say, sorry, literacy drive, but, some of these add on to the, existing current university curriculums. I think some of these will become very important in the scale factor as well.
Okay. So have you observed any recent collaborations between organizations and academia to reshape the talent landscape? Kritika, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, see, it comes from two main aspects, right? Leveraging academic expertise for large-scale upskilling of employees and the development of an industry-ready workforce by imparting like real-world technical skills and practical knowledge to students. So I think one, of course, the closest to us is, the programs of National Future Skills Prime, which are aligned to the National Skills Qualification Framework and the National Credit Framework, which means that if a student gets certified in these courses, he or she can bank the credits that they earn as contributing to their degree, which means skills become more aspirational and more people will pick up these courses which are available in these cutting edge technologies. And I think what's also exciting is for us to see the huge effort through NEP, National Education Policy, to make skills more aspirational and, vocational and academic credentials added to it. I think these two is quite exciting for us.
Piyush?
Yeah, so look, in addition to what Kritika talked about, which is in general creating a supply of talent for industry in that context, there are a few more specific initiatives that we've worked on as an organization. Number one is is our partnership for learning programs with Udemy and LinkedIn Learning. And that's to be able to upskill our top data tech and AI professionals. The second is we've partnered with top schools like MIT. In that, what we are doing is taking the top 120 people in our company, so the senior most 120 people in our company, and having them certify in AI and in Gen AI. And the purpose of that is so that the leadership of the company can engage in conversations where we take the lead in technology. So we already have 30 of our top leaders certified, and the objective is that in the next few months, we get the balance 90 leaders certified as well. The third is technology partnerships. So, an example there is generative AI playground, which we've developed, and that's in partnership with Microsoft. And that provides a secure environment for our employees to test and learn how generative AI can be used to solve client problems. Okay. Um, and then yet another example is where we partnered with Team Leads, where we have 5,000 graduates apprentice with us. So that's Team Leads degree application where we have 5,000 apprentices who are graduating with us. So those are some examples of how we partnered with institutions. And the key here, Sanjana, is that with the speed with which these changes are happening, it becomes increasingly important to build those robust partnerships. Because if organizations try and do this alone, at least we are clear that we will not be able to fulfill the needs from a strategy and a growth perspective that are arising. So partnerships become super critical.
Right. Okay. And how do you think organizations can equip their employees with the necessary skill sets? And why are these initiatives important? Kritika?
Well, Piyush would be better equipped to answer this, right? But see, the talent shortage is for real, right? And Piyush already talked about it in terms of the AI talent. We are estimating that we would need 200,000 to 300,000 professionals, like in the next 18 months, kind of a thing. So the urgency is there, and broader agendas like building key strategies to redesign incentive programs, like drawing a parallel with the production linked incentive scheme, which effectively aligns incentives and desired outcomes. Right. And like Piyush already mentioned, the industry plays a really critical role in bringing up to speed, whether it's the curriculum, whether it's the whole mentorship, and I think Piyush already talked about it really well. And in addition to that, there is the sector skills councils, which are leading a comprehensive national AI skilling framework and a learning platform offering diverse courses, right? And again, this is at scale and but at the essence of it and the core of it, I think, is the industry, academia, and the partnership there that will really need to evolve to build this out.
Piyush, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Sanjana. So look, on this one, your question was how can organizations equip their employees with the necessary skill sets? Look, I think first of all, it is super, super essential to have an internal talent development curriculum, okay? Because the option of only buy is not a sustainable option in the long term, and that's our view. And therefore, it has to be one where you are supplementing the build with the buy. The buy is going into the market, bringing in, seeding, the organization with key talent. But then you've got to make sure that you have a broad upskilling strategy. So first is figuring out what the gaps are. Number two, in a very agile fashion, you find a way to then upskill individuals and employees to close that gap. Now, the challenge here is that you're almost changing tires on a moving car because the skills continue to evolve. I mean, we have said this before, the half-life of most skills is 2 to 3 years. So, you cannot have a static learning curriculum. It has to be evolving all the time and totally dynamic. And therefore, a continuous evolving learning framework, which is at scale, okay, is super critical. So the way we've solved for this is, we've created an internal learning platform called Genome. I'll give you some statistics which have enabled us to be able to fulfill our talent needs, and hopefully it will continue going forward. We have upskilled to a basic proficiency level, 110,000 of our employees in Gen AI in the last 12 months, right? So the ability to do that exists because the Genome platform is, number one, virtual, but it provides an organizational context to the learning that we provide. And that organizational context is driven by internal subject matter experts building and delivering the curriculum. So what happens is that the learning we are disseminating is actually contextualized to the needs of our clients and our people, as opposed to being generic and something that we've just taken off the shelf, right? So that becomes super critical. And the results of that have actually been quite formidable, both in terms of retention and in terms of engagement. So someone who learns on Genome, Sanjana, fascinating statistic, someone who learns on Genome is 3 to 5 times more engaged and 3 to 5 times more likely to stay with the organization than others.
Thank you, Piyush. And extending the same conversation, how do you think upskilling initiatives become a metric in measuring the success of organizations? Piyush?
Yeah, look, I think you can start with input metrics like, what are the skills that you required going forward? What was the number of people you upskilled? But ultimately, the only metric to my mind that applies is, are you able to fulfill the growth needs of the organization with your talent? And to what extent are you able to delight clients when you do that? That is the final touchstone on which the success of any talent strategy needs to be measured.
Kritika?
Yeah, you see, if I just have to add to that, right? One is, for it to become a metrics, it also is about one, like Piyush mentioned, right? How the organization, the business, how you're delighting customers, right? But also, how are you bringing innovation to the table, right? And to do that, how are you incentivizing them as well, right? And with technical talent, it's also so much more important to look at saying, okay, what is the tech ladder that you're growing in, and how do you continue to grow in the tech ladder, and and that becomes really critical. And, small things like differentiated coveted designations for specialist talent, looking at, like incentive referrals for niche skills. And entrepreneurship as well, right? The whole thing around entrepreneurship and getting young people to build really cool tech as well. And all of these kind of add into, looking at the metrics for the success.
And with that, we come to the end of this conversation. Thank you so much, Piyush, and thank you so much, Kritika, for joining us for today's episode.
Thank you, Sanjana. Thank you, Kritika. Wonderful talking to both of you.
Thank you, Sanjana. Thank you, Piyush.